on 100.7 WMMS.
We'll see comedian Emma Willmann here in a minute. She's doing one night tonight at Hilarities. I will have another $1,000 for you in about 8 minutes. Around 4:30. Chance for you to go fund yourself. So listen for that. And we'll get Poundcake's weigh-in a little bit later on. I have Terry the Goat's Week 9 picks for you. No Browns game on Sunday. They just played Monday Night Football, of course. So she gave me 9 picks for Week 9. I assume that's coincidental, as she doesn't know how to count. Well, I assume. I don't know if she knows how to count. But I can tell you that Al Marcinek out there at Marcinek Farms was not putting her in any sheets dressed as a ghost. I don't know what the historical problems might be with a goat. I mean, it sounds closer to ghost, but I don't know if there's any issues there. Cavaliers win in overtime last night by 1 point here at home against the Celtics, 114-113. They're off tonight, and then tomorrow they'll start the weekend in Detroit, playing the Pistons at 7 o'clock tomorrow night here on MMS and the iHeartRadio app. That's your first tip. Tomorrow. And then they'll be in L.A. on Sunday to play LeBron and the Lakers. Boy, anybody that was hoping to get their hands around the World Series is kind of getting whiplash. Tuesday night, the Astros didn't get one run. The Phillies beat them like 7-0 or something. Last night, the Astros do the same thing to the Phillies. It's 5-0, and it was a no-hitter.
Yeah.
So I don't know if these are the kind of games you want to watch. I don't have any skin in the Astros-Phillies run, but man, that is a boring World Series game.
Bouncing ball to third, picked by Bregman, throw across in time. The Astros have a World Series no-hitter. The second one in World Series history. Don Larson in 1956. Joined by Christian Javier, Brian Abreu, Rafael Montero, and Ryan Presley.
4 hitters for the Astros pitched last night. Game 5 is in Philly tonight. So we'll see what happens there. I know Joe from Philly called us and was very excited for a potential Phillies whatchamacallit. World Series
championship?
Yeah. World Series championship is what I was trying to get to. I like to call it a whatchamacallit just because that makes me sound a little bit more, it makes me sound more everyman when I'm talking sports. Emma Willmann's here, by the way.
How you doing?
Hi. You can bend that thing back.
Let's do it. There we go.
There you go.
Perfect. There you go.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys doing?
Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
I want to play a little clip of you first just to
Uh-oh.
get people settled.
Let's do it.
How long ago was the Colbert spot? That was a few years ago, yeah?
I did it. I'm just saying this because I don't know which one it's going to be. I did it twice. One of them was like 6 years ago, and then one of them was 4 years ago. I have a bad sense of time.
But that was the first late night spot that you had done, or the first TV spot?
The very first Colbert spot was the first late night, first TV spot I ever did, yeah.
We had a gay pride once in my town,
This
and
is
it
the
was
first
just
one.
one person skipping down Main Street. That was it. One person skipping, and everyone was like, "Go, Steve, go!" And then a protester showed up just walking after him. We were like, "Steve, skip faster, go, go, go!" The protester was yelling at him like, "Stop skipping!" And the protester was his father, so
Well, it comes full circle, doesn't it? You are trying to make the point there that you are from a small town.
That's correct.
A tiny town.
Yep, Blue
What's
Hill,
the town?
Maine.
Blue Hill, Maine.
Yeah, it's up near Bar Harbor. Have any of you guys been to Maine before?
I was just.
I want to go. I've never been.
I
Yeah.
don't remember where I was. I played a college there a couple weeks ago.
Nice.
I had to fly into Augusta and then drive 2 hours. So that's where I was. It was Hudson University.
Oh, yeah. Hudson's, they had you fly into Augusta?
I think so.
They did you dirty. There's a much closer airport.
Unreal.
Yeah, so Augusta's the main state capital. I'm an idiot.
Yep.
I'm like 99% sure of that.
Yep.
So I'd say maybe 2 years ago, I was on this reality show about moose poop in Maine, this
Okay.
woman that sold moose poop in Maine. And the show didn't get picked up for a second season. Shocker.
It was one and done.
One and done.
Yeah.
But they had the crew staying in Augusta. So when I met the crew, people were all like, "Oh, we're stuck in Augusta." And I didn't know this, but I guess local Mainers call it Disgusta.
Okay.
And people, like everyone says Augusta's like the worst part of Maine.
Oh, good.
Yeah. So I hadn't spent much time there, but they were just like, I mean, it was the people working on the show about moose poop, but that's where they drew the line, was at Augusta.
What's so
Augusta
bad
was
at
too much.
Augusta?
I don't know. They were just they
Yeah.
called it I mean, I guess there's not a lot to do there, but it's Maine.
Right.
So there's not probably the real pros of Maine are just how beautiful it is, like
Uh-huh.
the foliage and the hiking. So you can't really do that.
Right.
But then I don't know. It's not like
Maybe the rest of Maine is just so good that it makes this
could be.
town seem so bad.
Maybe,
Yeah.
yeah. And maybe they're bitter that it's the state capital. There's
Now-
another, I don't know, maybe it has a smell.
So when I think of Maine and comedy, obviously I'll think of you. But I
Okay.
usually think of Bob Marley.
Sure.
But he sounds like he sounds, and you sound like you sound.
Yeah.
So there are variations within the state of how, because when people think, oh, there's somebody from Maine, they
Right.
think of somebody who sounds like Bob Marley.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily think of somebody who sounds like you.
I was just talking when I was walking over here about Bob Marley, the
Yeah.
comedian, because I think he's so funny.
Hilarious.
He's so funny,
Yeah.
and I had a show not too long ago where a woman had a Bob Marley T-shirt on and said Bob Marley stand up. So I pointed at her. I said, "I love Bob Marley. I love his stand up." And everyone was looking at me a little weird because it was the singer Bob Marley has a song called "Get Up, Stand Up."
Yep.
Oh, wow.
And it had a picture of the singer Bob Marley on her shirt. But to me,
They look a lot alike.
right, the comedian in Maine is such a more famous in my brain.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I saw stand up Bob Marley, and I thought, I love Bob Marley.
Yeah.
There are different. There's different accents in the state. I don't know why I maybe used to have a little accent, and then I tried to just get it out of me when I started going on commercial auditions.
I was going to say,
Oh,
so
there you go.
did you leave?
Yeah.
You went to New York when you decided that you wanted to do, like, at what point did you decide I want to do this? Was it high school? Was it college? Was it, I just got to get out of this town and we'll see what happens, or what?
It was college. Also, you have a great voice.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the first person that
Oh,
said that.
great. Now he knows.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Oh, we're never going to get into this.
All right,
30
well,
years
it took me a
in.
long time to get rid of my Maine accent,
Yeah, right,
but I
not like-
finally did it.
Not like you were waiting for me to tell that to you. But where I got rid of the accent was first I went from Maine to Boston, and then I went from Boston to New York because I
Yeah.
went to Boston for college.
Okay.
I think if I had gone from rural Maine to New York, I wouldn't have. It would
Okay.
have just been too much.
You go to BC, or where'd you go?
Simmons College,
Is that a design school or something?
small little liberal arts.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Studied
yeah.
philosophy.
Yep,
I
that's
don't
what
know.
I studied. Jesus.
Really?
Oh, I got 2 useless degrees, yeah. Because I didn't know what I was going to do.
I didn't know what I was going to do. I wanted to learn
That's
how to
exactly
think,
what
but
it is. It's like I'll study stuff I like because I don't know what I'm going to do, and then you fall into whatever. you know,
Right.
but yeah.
Yeah, Lord willing, and it
Yeah.
hopefully works out.
So then, starting in Boston, I mean, there are a lot worse places to get your feet wet doing stand up. Then
Boston's
Like,
got a good stand-up scene.
Yeah.
It really does. I mean, I wasn't aware of it at all when I was in school. I didn't go to comedy shows. The one comedy club I went to in Boston just for fun was the Comedy Studio, and I went on their Magic Night,
Nice.
and I wasn't really into that, so I was like, I don't like going to comedy clubs. But that was just like the one Magic Night they did a month.
yeah.
So then I started going to open mics, and I started performing at a place called Dick Doherty's Comedy Vault, which
Okay.
is now defunct. And
Yeah.
then the Comedy Studio in Boston's it's got a really good comedy scene. But I did that for a couple years. I mean, I won this competition in Boston, and I thought, this is it. I'm ready to go to New York. It was like Joe Schmo's.
Did you win the festival?
No,
Okay.
it was not a legit competition. But thank you. It was
Joe
like-
Schmo's Comedy Festival.
It was like Dougie from Craigslist's comedy competition. Pay me $20 and I'll say you were in my competition. I won
Right.
something like that. And then I went to New York, and that's where I guess cut my teeth.
So,
you would say.
it wasn't so much a compulsion with you as it was, I seem to have some acumen for this, and people are responding to it, rather than people are like, from the time I was 5, I knew I wanted to make people laugh.
No,
For
yeah,
you,
it
it was
wasn't
like,
that.
oh, I'm okay at this. Let's see what
Right.
happens.
I mean, I was a weird kid. I was like a really chubby kid, and I was like kind of quirky, and I was definitely the class clown. But comedy wasn't on my radar at all because we didn't watch it at home. I didn't really think. I remember watching Seinfeld as a kid with my
Yeah.
brother, but I just thought he was funny. I didn't think, oh, he's doing comedy. Or like I used to watch. Did you guys ever watch that show with Bruce on BET?
Yeah, once in a while.
Yeah, I used to watch that,
Yeah.
but I didn't know it was comedy, which to me is like the best type of comedy. When you don't know you're necessarily watching
Yes.
stand up, you're just like, I like that guy.
Right.
That's my favorite type of comedy. So I didn't put the label on it until I started reading about it, and I was always interested in entertainment. I just never thought of.
And Boston's still
comedy.
got a lot of those old timers floating around,
Sure
like
does.
Steve Seagrin and like all those dudes
Yeah,
are
Lenny
still.
Clark,
Lenny Clark, yeah.
Tony V.
Yes.
Kenny Rogerson still?
Kenny
I know that name.
Yeah.
There's another famous Kenny Rogers, right? Something with
There's
chicken.
Kenny Rogers, but there's Kenny Rogerson.
Oh,
Kenny Rogerson, the comic, yeah, in Boston.
I don't know if I know him. Steve
Who was it?
Sweeney.
Sweeney is the guy I was trying to think of. The
Sweeney.
cop in Something About Mary. Steve
Oh,
Sweeney.
yeah.
He pokes his head in. And,
Right.
Yeah, Frank and Beans.
Yeah.
Hold your thought. I got to give away some money here very quickly. It's $1,000, a chance for you to go fund yourself. Another one of these keywords. Listen closely and good luck.
The Buzzard wants you to go fund yourself and score $1,000. Enter the nationwide keyword WIN at WMMS.com. That's WIN. Enter it now at WMMS.com. And good luck from Buzzard Radio.
So Emma Willmann is doing one show tonight right around the corner at Hilarities. You can go to pickwickandfrolic.com for the details. If you miss her here in a couple of weeks, she's going to be, I think, outside Cincinnati. You're doing like the Liberty Funny Bone or something.
Yes.
So for Ohioans who are like, oh, I can't make it tonight, but maybe I can drive all the way to Cincinnati. You know, it's an option. I don't know.
It's an option. Or I'll
it's
come
an
back
option.
at some point. Or,
There you go.
know.
7 o'clock show tonight
Yes.
at Hilarities. You can go to IamEmmaWillmann.com for all the details. 2 N's. And so were mom and dad, were they at all, when you were like, I'm going to be a stand-up comedian, did they go, oh, that tracks? Or were they like, really?
They hate it.
Yeah.
So my dad's a math professor. My mom had a Swedish weaving business, so it's truly bizarre to me that she's like, comedy's weird. I'm like, who is a Swedish? We're not even Swedish. Like the whole,
Right.
it's very strange.
She made your sweater, probably.
I wish. Swedish weaving actually
Yeah.
is a certain type of pattern, and the sweater's
Oh,
not a
it
Swedish
is?
weaving pattern. Yes.
Oh, all
the
right.
fun things you learn when your mom's a
Yeah.
Swedish weaver. Actually, right now she's in Guatemala, so she imports and exports her weavings Swedish style to Guatemala.
But she's
she a
legit.
drug
Like
dealer?
it's a
Might be a cover up, honestly.
she's a weaving mule.
Yeah, I'm importing and exporting.
Yeah.
It's legit, but she thinks comedy. She just thinks comedy's so weird. So
Mm-hmm.
she's just like, it's just crazy. Like, why would you do this?
It is
to
weird.
yourself? It
I
is
mean, you
weird.
know, yeah. But it's
I
fun.
get it.
Yeah.
It's just something, and when you use the word compulsion, I do feel that compulsion. It's such a compulsion. Like
Yeah.
once I started doing it, I was like, ooh, I was hooked. I was into it right away. Like that was just compulsion's a good, and I'm a pretty compulsive person, but
But it probably also helps if you can't envision doing something else.
I
You
know, and I
like-
try
yeah.
all the time.
Like there's a lot of people, like we had Gondelman in, we had, who do we just have in? Ryan Singer.
Ryan Singer,
These
yeah.
guys who were like teachers for a while, or they worked in an office for a long
Right.
time. You know, Gaffigan and Kyle Cease and all these guys that had
Sure.
like regular gigs.
Right.
And then there's other people who are like, I can't do anything else. So,
I mean, I was a recruiter for a little bit. I did sales, but I just never sold anything.
right.
So that gets in the way of that.
What were you trying
kind
to
of
sell? Yeah.
sales?
Well, I was trying to sell educational travel for a little bit. Didn't sell it once.
Like school
Like
trips?
school trips.
Yeah.
Didn't sell one trip. Not once. I
And you
remember,
probably were angling for commissions on those.
Yeah, and I remember my boss goes, they're like, I've never seen anyone put in more effort with less results. And I said, well, that's what I do.
That's my
That's
thing.
my brand.
Kind of my thing.
Yeah. The ROI on you is next to nil.
Yeah, there's
but,
none.
you
I
know.
tried recruiting because I like people. So I was like, sales is good. I'll talk, talking to people. But then you got to sell them stuff. And I didn't want to pressure anybody.
It's hard to make that right. It's hard to make that
Like, if
transition.
you want it, like it's fine, but there's other places you could go.
exactly.
Yeah.
And if they're like, I
You
can't,
got
I
a
don't
better
have
deal
the money.
here, yeah.
But I
The
did
kids
sales.
don't like to leave home.
I did sales for a hot minute back in the day too, and I like grew up going to Catholic school and all that, and they always send you out in Catholic school going door to door. You're either selling chocolates or some scam, right? Necklaces are going to turn your friend's aunt's neck green or whatever.
Right.
And so you get a little older and you go, well, maybe I got, a gift of gab or whatever. But it's hard making that transition from, hey, we're just shooting the ish
Right.
to, do you want to buy a school trip for 17 seniors?
Totally. 'cause
Yeah, at
then they're like,
$15,000 a pop.
right. That's what you're really here for.
Yeah.
And you're like, I did a little fundraising for the Special Olympics. That was easy.
Yeah,
That's easy because either people can give money to it or they can't.
Right.
No, it's not a real controversial,
Right.
thing.
and you can also
But-
make them feel like dicks for not giving to it, right? So
Yes.
there's like that kind of thing. You play the guilt factor on them.
If you can't raise money for that, then you got some real struggles.
Maybe you don't
there.
understand me. These are these special Olympics, all right?
Have
Not
I
the
made it
regular
clear
Olympics.
What type of Olympics
Yeah.
it is?
So at some point you go, this is not for, but you were doing this concurrently with stand up. Like you had a day gig and then you were doing.
So I was doing this while I was actually trying to invent something.
Okay.
So I was trying to invent something. I was sending all my evenings, everything, any money I was making. I was living at my mom's. I was sending all my money that I was making from my my commission sales job where I was making no commission.
Mm-hmm.
But I was sending my base salary, everything, to try to get a product prototype developed. And I sent it to a scam developer because I didn't take the time to really research it. I remember meeting a lawyer, and he was like, and I told him, I was like, I'm trying to invent something. And he was like, you got to get a patent pending. You got to follow these steps. And I was like, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah.
And then cut to, I did everything, sent it to a scam developer.
Yeah.
And I figured that out after about a year. And then I was so crushed.
The same guy that ran Joe Schmo's Comedy Festival.
Exactly. This guy he knows a good repeat customer when he sees one. When I was so crushed by that, I went to a party, and there was someone doing stand-up at the party.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I was like, oh, interesting. And then I was so like looking for meaning at that time when I always wonder, like, what if that person had been doing something else? I could have
Might have been a magician.
Could have been a magician. Who knows? A lawyer. Who
Has
knows?
that invention
Didn't work out.
scraped at the back of your brain ever since, though? You're like, I could be the inventor comedian. I don't know if
you
may know her as the inventor of the ShamWow, but you're gonna love her
Man.
tonight.
Could
Something.
you imagine?
Yeah.
I think I'd keep. I hope to God I'd keep them separate if I did invent something.
Right.
Because I wouldn't want to be doing props.
But it was never like a Shark Tank type of thing where
It
you
was
were
before Shark Tank. I
Yes.
woulda.
Yeah.
It was this. It was this thing. The very first thing I tried to invent when I was little was caffeinated cigarettes.
No.
And
Duh.
I said, if you
That
put
sounds
the,
amazing.
Not enough drugs in regular cigarettes,
Right.
kids.
I was like,
Yeah.
if you put the caffeine in the cigarette filter, it'll be like drinking a Red Bull and having a cigarette. And I was like, I must have been in high school, and my dad's a math teacher. My mom's a Swedish weeb. I mean, they were mortified.
Yeah.
They're like, where did that come from? So I didn't do that because they were just.
I think you tried to invent meth.
I think.
I think
How do
that's
I
what
make
that is.
cigarettes more addictive?
Yeah.
What did I do?
Right.
I love that.
So messed. I don't know where that.
Well,
my dad-
it's a kernel of an idea that has infinite possibilities. really.
Sure.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's the type of thing. If you hear a kid say it, yeah, it's a little side eye. Like, who are you hanging out with? I don't know where I got it from. But then I tried to. I'm pretty short, and my pants always scuff at the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
So I was obsessed with trying to create this thing called Stop the Scuff, where it prevents your pants from scuffing at the bottom. So it's like a clear plastic material. I can't see it. Or if I have it on, you can't see it. I can't feel it. It's like a condom for your pants bottom. That was the whole pitch.
Stop the scuff.
Stop the scuff.
That's what all those January 6th signs said.
Oh.
I misread them the entire time. It was
That's what it
guerrilla
was.
marketing.
Yeah.
Pitch gone sideways.
That'd be genius.
Yeah, scuff. So in your mind, you were like,
I'm
I
gonna
could
invent this.
buy different size pants, but I don't want to.
Yes.
You know, in a
Yeah.
New York winter where there's slush and there's snow and there's dirt and there's homeless poop. You know,
Yeah.
these pant cuffs.
You're hired.
Yeah. Well,
That was the idea.
But you need to have a creative brain, and to
Oh.
be an inventor, and so it lends itself to. I don't have a brain like that. I don't have like an entrepreneurial kind of brain. I'm fascinated by people who have that. They
I
go,
think
hey,
it's so
what if?"
interesting
Yeah, it's
because you
great.
got to have the entrepreneurial brain, and then you also have to have the follow through. Because people, now I'm so much less impressed by motivation. I'm more impressed by discipline.
Right.
Like, so I'm gonna do this. I got an idea for this. Cool. That's great. Love a creative thinker. When are you gonna do it? How are you gonna do it? So I think inventors are interesting, but I'm amazed by someone that finishes something.
And your dad, being the analytical type he probably wasn't like on board with any of that. I would think he'd be like, give you an Attagirl or something.
So with the invention, he was probably like, "That's great, honey. Like, good for you. We'll see."
Yeah.
With comedy, the first couple shows he went to were actually good shows. The first couple shows, which was just luck because I was so new. The first couple shows my mom went to were truly some of the worst shows I've ever done in my life.
Yeah.
Just happened to be the ones that she came to the first one.
Right.
So she was
They both
shook.
got two very different experiences.
Totally
Yeah.
different experiences. And my dad is also, I think this helps. He's a little deaf. He's been losing his hearing for years, and I think it helps. I think it makes him. He just got hearing aids, but I'm like, you haven't heard anything this whole freaking time.
Yeah, right.
So it makes him like comedy because everyone's just smiling around him. You just see him nodding along, and then afterwards, oh, that's great, honey.
And you can reuse old material with him too, and it'll be
Oh, yeah.
brand new.
I got an idea for an invention.
Please.
Hearing aids, but you can't hear your loved one's political opinions.
Oh my God.
It's like a setting where you just hit the button twice.
Yeah, he just
I like that.
just filters it out.
That would be such a good sketch, like a good
Yeah.
comedy sketch. Or it's like,
Well,
yeah, like,
I'm sure if we say it, SNL will steal it.
Sure.
Yeah, there you go. We'll put it out into the ether, and it'll
Yeah.
be okay.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Or it's like you could just like, you know,
I
you
got
can
a
like.
few. I got
If only we knew an
the
inventor.
saxophone.
Yeah, the saxophone.
What's a saxophone?
It's a saxophone with your lunchbox in it.
It's a musical instrument that you pack with your lunch.
Huh.
Yeah.
Would it affect the sound?
Of course.
It would be
Sounds
unplayable.
Terrible.
Yeah.
You can play it, but you can only play
delicious.
one note.
Yeah.
So one day we were just throwing ideas around, and I came up with these dumb things off the top of my head.
$1 million
and
ideas.
then somebody 3D printed a lunchbox and put it into a toy saxophone.
Love it.
And gave it to me at my album recording a couple years ago.
I love that.
It was really fun.
Did you keep it?
Oh yeah, it's in my home office, like displayed.
Think of the spin.
I don't have any pictures of like my
On the
family.
food.
Yeah.
Covered like
Well,
an
no,
animal.
it's not connected. It's separate,
Oh.
but it's all together. But it's
It's compartmentalized.
yeah, it's
Yeah, I
see, I
compartmentalized.
see.
yeah.
It's like the old illustrated woman with the baby inside that they would show you to
Right.
teach. It would always fall out in
yeah.
class.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Very clever.
Well, listen, we've got a lot of great ideas here, a
Yeah.
lot of starting off points. Emma Willmann is at Hilarities tonight for one show. So if you want to go see her, it is 7 o'clock right around the corner from here at Pickwick and Frolic on East 4th. And you go to Hilarities, just Google Hilarities. You get the information there.
Come on
And
down.
I am Emma Willmann online too. Nice
Yes,
to meet
sir.
you. Thanks
Great
for coming
to
in.
meet you. Thank you guys so much for having me. I
course.
appreciate it.
Let me take a break. We'll be back. If you want to text for anything, 35192 to do that. And AlanCoxShow.com for all the other stuff.
The Alan Cox Show on 100.7 WMMS. Rover's Morning Glory.
Well, Dieter, props to you. Charlie brought in a gift from his dog, and you ate the entire thing. Disgusting.
I have the worst taste in my mouth right now. You
I wonder why.
You don't understand. No, when somebody says, "Oh, that tastes like crap," this actually. Nobody could ever say that phrase again because you don't know what it tastes like.
Rover's Morning Glory.
Weekdays on 100.7 WMMS and 24/7 on our free iHeartRadio app.
Always the best deals, always the best value.
Kevin Moret for Mentality Men's Health. Guys, over 20,000 clients have sought treatment at Mentality for low T symptoms. The weight gain, fatigue, and loss of drive they were feeling was actually a decrease in their free testosterone called Free T, the testosterone that actually fuels your body. Our FDA-approved treatment restores your Free T to optimum levels, restoring your energy, metabolism, mental focus, and performance in life. Covered by insurance so any guy can afford it. In Cleveland, go to lowtusa.com. That's lowtusa.com.
Hey,